The morning air in the house felt strangely heavy, the kind of silence that presses against your chest before something bad happens. I was rolling down the hallway in my wheelchair, thinking only about getting a cup of warm tea, when suddenly, Catherine's sharp voice sliced through the quiet like a knife. She stepped out from around the corner, her heels clicking against the floor, her smile thin and cold. She always appeared when I least expected it, like a shadow waiting for a chance to torment me. "You're a leech," she said, her tone dripping with contempt as she paced toward me. "Get out of your parents' place now." I kept moving, pretending I didn't hear her. I'd learned that reacting only fed her cruelty, but today she wasn't satisfied with being ignored. In one swift movement, she stepped directly in front of me, blocking the hallway. Before I could warn her to move, her expression twisted, and the world tipped beneath me. My body lifted for a split second, weightless and helpless, before I crashed down onto the cold floor. Pain exploded through my arm. The breath was knocked out of me. Catherine had shoved me, and my wheelchair clattered loudly as it skid across the floor. From above, she laughed, a cruel, sharp sound that cut deeper than any bruise. She nudged my wheelchair farther away with her foot like it was a toy she was tired of. "You deserve this," she sneered. "I won't give it back until you leave." Her voice echoed through the hallway while I lay helpless on the ground. I could still remember the early months of knowing her, when I thought I was gaining a sister. But Catherine had always treated me like trash, brushing off her cruelty as if it were nothing but normal conversation. I could never understand how someone could carry so much hate in their heart over a person who'd done nothing to them. And that was the moment I decided I had to leave. I couldn't stay a second longer in the home I once loved. As Catherine stood there with a twisted smirk. The house that had felt warm for decades suddenly felt cold and unfamiliar. Her grin looked like something unearthly, as if being cruel filled her with joy. In that moment, lying on the hard floor, I made a silent promise to myself. One day, I would repay her for all of this. Maybe not with her same cruelty, but with something stronger. The truth she thought she could bury. My name is Emily. I'm 33. And my life changed 3 years ago on a rainy afternoon at the train station. One small slip on a wet step sent me falling, and when I woke up later in a sterile hospital bed, I couldn't move my legs. The doctors explained I had paraplegia. I cried for days, not knowing how to live the rest of my life, but slowly I learned. I worked from home, made adjustments, found new strength I didn't know I had. 2 years ago, my parents remodeled the house to make it easier for me to get around, installing ramps and widening doorways. It helped, but what I still struggle with, even now, was being seen. The stares, the whispered pity. So I stayed indoors most of the time, where it was safe. My brother and Catherine married last year and moved in with us. Catherine, 3 years older than me, introduced herself with smiles and soft words that made me believe she was kind. I thought I had gained a sister, someone who understood family, but I couldn't have been more wrong. The day she moved in, after she unpacked, she asked to have a heart-to-heart talk in my room. I was so happy. I thought she wanted to bond. She pushed my wheelchair into my room, closed the door loudly, and then everything changed. Her face hardened like stone. "You're an eyesore," she said without hesitation. "Not just your legs, even your ears are useless. You and that wheelchair are disgusting to look at." I stared at her, unsure how to respond. I laughed nervously, hoping it was some terrible attempt at humor. "That's a joke, right?" Her eyes narrowed. "First of all, I hate jokes. And second, everything I said is true." Her words slammed into me like heavy stones. I covered my mouth, trying to steady my hands as confusion swirled in my head. Had I done something wrong? Why did she hate me? Then she continued, each sentence sharper than the last. "You're a parasite," she hissed. "You live off others and never work. You just sit around all day." "I do work," I whispered, trying to defend myself. "I earn money. I contribute." "Liar," she snapped. "If you worked, you'd leave this house instead of living off your parents like a tick." I was stunned. This woman I had tried to welcome into my life was tearing me apart with her words. I thought about telling my brother, but the memory of waking in the hospital, The helplessness of not knowing how to live after losing the ability to walk. It all flooded back. Maybe Catherine was dealing with something of her own. Maybe she needed time. Maybe we could learn to live together. So I stayed quiet. I tried to be patient. I tried to talk to her, to make peace. But Catherine's behavior only got worse. When the family was around, she played the part of the perfect sister-in-law, sweet, helpful, caring. But when they left for work, she turned cruel. One afternoon she quoted, "He who does not work, neither shall he eat," before picking up my lunch and throwing it straight into the trash while I watched. She started blocking my doorway with boxes, baskets, anything she could find, trapping me inside my room. No matter how much I explained that I did work, she didn't care. She didn't want to understand. Finally, one day I broke. I gathered my parents and brother and explained everything with Catherine in the room so she couldn't lie. But she did lie, and she cried. She cried so hard I almost believed her myself. She apologized dramatically, claiming the vacuum cleaner was in front of my door by accident, and she only threw away the food because she didn't like it. My family believed her completely. After that, I stayed in my room even more, avoiding her at all costs. But one morning, everything finally broke open. I was heading back to my room after breakfast when Catherine appeared in the hallway. Her voice was like poison. "Still planning to squat here? You're a pest. A useless parasite. Get out." I tried to ignore her, rolling past, but she stepped in front of me. And when I tried to move around her, she sneered and kicked my wheelchair. The world tilted. My arms slammed into the floor. Pain shot through me. I tried to lift myself, tried to reach the wheelchair, but my injured arm was too weak. Catherine stood over me, arms crossed, trying not to laugh. "Pathetic," she said. "What a sight." I begged her to give me my wheelchair, but she kicked it even farther away. "You won't get it back until you agree to leave," she snapped. Her cruelty burned through me. It was then that I realized I had to leave. I had to get out of that house before she destroyed me completely. "You can't afford an apartment," she mocked. "A high-rise, please." But I kept insisting, telling her to return the wheelchair. "The helper will be here soon. Ask them for help. Finally, I can get rid of this money-eater. This big house and all its wealth are all mine." Her eyes glimmered with triumph. She had gone this far just to push me out. That's when I saw her true nature. She was terrifying, a devil hiding under makeup and fake smiles. She walked away, leaving me on the freezing floor. Winter air seeped through the hallway, chilling my skin until my teeth chattered. I tried to crawl toward the wheelchair, but my hurt arm trembled too much to move me even an inch. Minutes felt like hours. My body grew colder and weaker. I wondered if I would be stuck there forever. Finally, the front door opened. The helper arrived. I cried out, voice shaking. They ran toward me, panic on their face, and immediately called for help. They got me upright and rushed me to the hospital. There, after x-rays and checks, the doctors finally delivered news that brought a breath of relief, where fortunately it was determined to be just a bruise with no bony abnormalities. I was prescribed ointment and returned home, with a bitter feeling beginning to prepare to move out. I wouldn't let this go. I would reveal Catherine's true nature and make her regret it. On the day of the move, Catherine was getting ready to leave after finishing her breakfast. She hurriedly headed to the front door, making sure to tell me one last thing. "Make sure you clean up and leave before I get back, and never come back to this house again," I replied firmly. "You don't have to worry, I'll be gone from here for good." Then, with a bitter finality, I say goodbye, forever goodbye. Catherine seemed unusually cheerful, and I couldn't help but wonder what her reaction would be when she found out about the impending tragedy that awaited her. My plan was nearing completion, but despite this, leaving the home I had grand attached toe felt like being forcefully pulled away. I bid my farewells by touching the pillar sand walls one last time, expressing my gratitude. "Goodbye, my beloved home. Thank you for everything." As the moving truck drove away, I watched the house disappear from view, feeling a sense of longing. True to my word to Catherine, I moved to the top floor of a high-rise apartment. Looking out at the view outside, I felt a sense of excitement about my new life. However, my moment of excitement was interrupted by a phone call. Glancing at the screen, I saw Catherine's name displayed calmly. I answered the call. "Hey, what's going on? Catherine's voice sounded frantic. There's nothing left in the house. What's going on? I replied coolly. It's because I've moved out. I'm Busey, so I'm going to hang up now, but Catherine wasn't having it. Wait a minute, Wo gave you permission to do such a thing. There's no TV, no air conditioner, no even a dresser. What have you done? Everything in the house was bought by Mezzo. I don't need permission, do I? Non-censurating them at once. Catherine's voice rang with indignation. I remained firm. I won't be returning any of my belongings. Be the way the house is being converted to barrier free, and the utility bill shave all been paid by me. You know, it should actually be asking for money. Catherine couldn't believe it. You can't be serious. You don't like jokes, so I'm being honest here. And yes, I've moved to a high-rise apartment just as I declared. It's the top floor, so the view is amazing. Since she called, I took the opportunity to tell her the truth that Catherine never bothered to listen to before. Did you know that the person you have been ridiculing all this time wastes one providing you with food and a place to live? How do you feel now? Catherine scoffed. That can't be. I've never been fed by you. How could someone who was holed up in the house earn any money? I revealed. I'm a stock trader making a killing. I used to work as a stockbroker before I became wheelchair bound, so managing stocks is easy for me. Thanks to that, I now have savings of $3 million. Catherine's true feelings slipped out. Wait, don't tell me it's not your parents who are rich, but you. I confirmed. That's right, my parents and brother earn an average income, so I've saved up all my earnings for their retirement. I thought you were wealthy because of the big house and renovations. Catherine's shock was evident. I was completely fooled. It seems you've misunderstood on your own. I continued. By the way, I also manage assets, and aside from the apartment I moved into today, I own several other properties. The real winner here is me. Catherine's tone turned hostile. I won't forgive you, but I remained unfazed. Make all the noise you want. You should more worried about yourself. Though you've put the house up for sale, we've already moved out with my parents and brother, so you're the only one left. Bend. Catherine's panic was palpable. That's too much. My parents and brother have moved out with me. I chuckled inwardly. Oh right, I forgot to mention my brother has already blocked your fiend emails. Catherine's desperation was evident as she tried to contact my brother, only to be met with failure. All this was possible because you knocked me over in my wheelchair and injured me. Thank you for that. I concluded the helper saw what happened and told my prince, which is why my family cooperated with me. In fact, we have been secretly planning to leave the house without Catherine noticing. Moreover, my brother had prepared something else. Tone sure Catherine would be caught off guard. Didn't my brother suggest last night, why don't you go out tomorrow? It's going to be tough with the move that was to empty the house without unitizing. Catherine was silent for a moment, likely at a loss for words. Thench suddenly changed her tone, attempting to sound sweet. Emily, I guess I went a bit too far with my pranks. From now on you'll cherish you, so let's get along. But I wasn't buying it. Line like that will only make your nose grow like Pinocchio. Don't nitpick. I want to be like real sisters with you. Emily, I couldn't stand her deceit. I can't stand to listen to such nonsense. By the wait, this whole conversation is on speakerphone, and both my parents and brother are listening, and none of them will forgive you, but my brother will divorce you. So please live well on your own. Catherine realized she was getting nowhere with me and made a last-ditch effort. Honey, can you hear me? This divorce talk is just a joke, right? My brother didn't seem inclined to answer her question. He was listening and lawing at her distress. Shut up was all Catherine got in response. Hey, let's talk this over properly. Okay, Catherine plead. Okay, I'll find out where a high-rise is and come over right away. Please tell me where it is. Surprised by her belief that she could still be forgiven, we all burst into laughter, but considering Catherine's persistence, sternly warned her in a firm voice, if you try to enter the high-rise without permission, I will sue you for trespassing. Catherine tried to brush off me, warning, oh, don't say such scary things. I'm very serious, but I wasn't backing down. Moreover, for knocking me over in my wheelchair and causing injurious well as the emotional distress, I will file a civil lawsuit for compensation. I have the medical certified, so you can escape this. Pay $20. Zero promptly, please. Catherine panicked. If I have to pay that, I'll be broke. You have $3 million. You don't need money. But I stood firm. I'm demanding compensation to make you reflect on your actions. If you disagree, talk to my lawyer. So goodbye forever. Desperate not to lose her wealthy spouse, Catherine apologized. I apologize. I'll change my ways, so please forgive me, but I wasn't buying it. Forgive you. You must be joking. I cut her off decisively in the end just to be safe. I took precautions to ensure Catherine couldn't enter the Hyries apartment. I gave a photo of her to the manager and informed them that she was absent of concern if she even steps inside. The security guards will immediately rush over. My brother no longer wanted to see Catherine's face. So I asked a lawyer I know to finalize the divorce since Catherine had squandered my brother's earnings. She only received $20. In the property division, she was living in the house we put up for sale without permission, but was discovered by the real estate company that bought it was fined for trespassing. Now a criminal, Catherine has become unwelcome even at her own family's home and is wandering the streets without a place to go. As promised, I file for $2.00 in compensation. I will make sure she pays it no matter what. Our family has moved to a spacious newly built high-rise apartment and is enjoying our days leisurely. While the large detached house was nice, the unobstructed views from the expansive windows are a refreshing change for me who always sits in a wheelchair on clear days. A beautiful mountain range is visible, and at night illumination from the building sparkles, providing new delights.